Everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is the web browser Extravaganza on the channel, and it just means I'm going to be looking at a whole load of web browsers, and I've already listed a load of features for each of them. So we're going to be having a look at obviously these new browsers and some old ones just for some fun. So the first one we're going to be looking at today is Firefox 57 or Firefox Quantum, whatever you want to call it really. And if I just quickly load it up, you will notice as well I'm using Windows 8.1 because I prefer 8.1 over 10 actually. Anyway, so the main features that I've got listed here about Firefox 57 is that it's twice as fast as Firefox 52, it's built on a completely overhauled core engine, it uses less RAM than Chrome and other competition, and it's had a UI overhaul called Photon designed to modernise Firefox. So we can already see the UI overhaul here, simply because it looks a whole lot better than well, the original installer actually. The original one sort of reminds me of a more traditional Windows setup process, but I have noticed in recent years different programs have taken on their own kind of UI for their installer, like CCleaner for example is one of them. Anyway, for some reason it's taking quite a while, and I'm not quite sure why. I'll just quickly pause the video and check my internet connection. Here we go, turns out it was the installer all along. I'm not sure why the last one was bad, but this one seems to be a good one. Yeah, also if you're a long time obviously user of Firefox, you'll notice straight away that the UI looks very different from the older Firefoxes. Sort of got these weird square tabs now. And anyway, I presume this is the sign in, obviously tab here, which it usually loads up. Okay, as I suspected. And you'll also notice that it's got this nice background effect as well. I suppose that's part of the whole UI overhaul. I must say I do like that quite a lot really. Anyway, let's have a look over here. Yeah, that's just the privacy notice there. So let's have a quick look around the browser. And yeah, I mean some parts are the same. This little menu here is very similar to the old style menu from Firefox 56 and backward. Yeah. Let's have a look at the options, shall we? Well, that's pretty much all obviously the same. Yeah. And there's also been a lot of stuff going around about Firefox actually being faster than Chrome in this new release, and I must say I have been using Firefox Quantum or 57 on my regular, obviously, computer, and I have noticed it is actually rather faster than Chrome itself, so they've actually done quite a good job there. So let's go and have a look at some of the websites, shall we? So it's loaded YouTube quite fast. And there it is down the bottom already. Okay, as you can see there, it has fully loaded everything, which is quite good. Yeah, and it's loaded it really fast as well, even though well, today for some reason we've only got a 1 megabyte per second internet speed, so but yeah, that seems to have loaded everything quite well. Let's now go and have a look at, how about the website. Completely spelled it wrong. And there's a new site. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, it seems to have loaded the website rather well. Yeah, it's all loaded up perfectly well. And like I said, I really like the UI in this new version of Firefox, just how many sort of new little things it's got as well as the big things. And I've also noticed that the home button here links back to the new tab option. And yeah, I mean, it's just so much more faster than the old style Firefoxes. And after using this for quite a few weeks now, actually, I have actually noticed it to, well, I really do like it, and I actually prefer it over the old Firefoxes. Yeah, and overall Firefox 57 or Quantum for me is a really stable browser, which is basically unparalleled in speed, really. And it is faster than Chrome, and it does use up less RAM than Chrome. So I do like obviously all those features, and hopefully anyway this will be the release that actually sees Firefox becoming really popular. So best of luck to all the team at Firefox, you've done a brilliant job, and I will come back to Firefox a bit later in this video. So that's that for now. So the next browser we're going to be taking a look at is Opera, and here we go. So the main features about Opera are, let's do that. So the main features about Opera are it has got a free VPN, it's got a built-in ad blocker, a battery saver mode, a messenger service, and a sync data option, which is much like the sign-in option in Firefox and Chrome. So the options are all good. And let's just maximise this. Yeah, so I mean, I did use Firefox for a few years, well, that was a few years back, and I thought it was okay, but Firefox, personally, in my opinion, was a slightly better browser. So, yeah. So, obviously, we can have a look around some of the features about the free VPN. I don't know where they've put that. Oh yeah, there's the ad blocker feature right there, and the VPN is going to be somewhere, isn't it? I presume it's going to be under processing security. Ah, there's the VPN there. Yeah. So, as you can see, that's that feature. I can enable that really easily or turn it off. And yeah, it's also obviously got the battery saver mode, which oh no, that's not that one. Could find the battery saver mode as well, but I'm not quite sure where they've put that. In fact, that'll probably be back in the settings most probably. Browser. Oh, there it is, battery saver. Yeah, so it's already got that enabled. So they're basically the main features, and as you can see at the side there, it's got the Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, so that's already built in, which I think is rather good. I mean, personally I've never used that, so I can't really rate them, and yeah, I don't really want all my contacts being shown on this. I'm not going to demonstrate that today. So anyway, let's actually have a look around and see how well it loads web pages. And how about I open another tab? There we go. Bearing in mind this is possibly a bit slower than it would be actually, because I have loaded 2 tabs rather than 1, which is what I've done in the other one, so there it is. Yeah, so as you can see, it's loaded the YouTube channel perfectly well, and rather fast actually, considering I've got 2 tabs open. Close the old page. Oh, there. Right. What? There it is. Closed both tabs when I haven't even loaded this one yet. Okay, so as you can see there as well, it has loaded the other web page perfectly well. Yeah, and it seems rather good. So, I believe that is basically the Opera browser done. It is rather fast, and I do like all the features that it's got. I mean, it's good to have an inbuilt ad blocker and a VPN as well. So, yeah, all things considered, it's a really good browser actually. And I like all the features, especially like the Messenger and the WhatsApp and everything. And it's not like, I mean, it's most probably a bit slower than some of the other browsers, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter, because the difference in time is probably so minute that it doesn't really matter anyway. And yeah, so that's basically Opera really. And I have tried the sync data thing, wherever that's gone. Yeah, synchronize. Yeah, I have done that before in Opera, and it does work perfectly fine. So I believe that's Opera basically done with now. So overall, Opera is a really good browser, and yeah, it loads the pages really fast, and it's got some really nice features. So I do see a lot of potential in Opera's future. Perhaps if they did make it slightly faster, then it probably would be a bit more popular, but yeah, overall they've done a really good job, so well done to everyone at Opera. So now we're going to move on to the Brave browser, which is this one here. Now this is a lesser known about browser, and if I get my sheet here that I printed off a little while ago, apparently it's got a minimalistic UI. It's approximately twice as fast as Google Chrome, and it has got an inbuilt ad and tracker blocker. So this should be rather interesting. As you can see, the installer was incredibly simple. All it took was a double click, and that's basically it. So it seems to have loaded itself up now. I'm not sure. Okay, so if we go to Google, for example, and then we can go off to YouTube. Okay then. Now, I wonder if it's going to restart after that little crash. Somehow I don't think so. No. Oh, I can't see it on the task manager. I'm not sure if I missed it, but I'll try to load it up again. I mean, it was one crash, and that was his first time at starting, so I'll forgive it for that. And let's have a look around. I mean, how about instead of internet browsing, we'll leave that for the moment and go and have a look at some of the settings. So let's have a look at the preferences, and let's take a look at the features again. So there is apparently an ad blocker somewhere. That's interesting. Yeah. So there's the option to block ads and tracking there. So I suppose this really is focused around security. I mean, I've never heard use one password. Okay. /. I don't think there's a synchronise option in this one. It doesn't really surprise me. They're only they obviously aren't a massive company, so. And obviously now looking through the features, I can see that it's mainly focused on security, and as you can see it has got a minimalistic UI, which is okay. I suppose it means you can just focus on whatever you're doing and obviously not be distracted by the browser itself, like Internet Explorer, where you've got all them extra extensions and everything at the top of the screen. So let's actually go ahead and have a look at YouTube. I'll only load one tab at a time in this one because it seems to be a little bit fragile. Okay, so that has actually, that actually loaded really quick, which was rather nice. And as you can see, it's loaded YouTube perfectly well. And another thing as well is, oh, that's interesting. Look at the top there at the navigation bar, and notice how it's got YouTube.com and then it's Dash and Retro Technology Showcase. So that's all fun and well. And then when you hover over it, it actually shows you the extended, like the URL. In full. So that's really intelligent how it does that. It knows exactly where it is and then it displays it at the top there, which I suppose is another feature going towards make it, it means that you can actually focus on your work without being distracted by anything else, which is good. So yeah, that's a rather good feature really. And how about let's go and have a look at, I would go and have a look at the website, but so far this has performed perfectly fine. Later, guess I could go and have a look anyway. Yeah. And I mean, just like doing a Google search, it's loaded everything immediately, and it's loaded it perfectly fine as well. Okay, there's another crash. Right, well, I'll give the Brave browser a little bit of a rest, because although it seems to load everything quite well, it has had 2 crashes now, so I will come back to that one later if it still works. So anyway, let's go and have a look at this next browser. This is the Maxton browser, and apparently it's a beta version, which is weird, seeing as I went to File Hippo and, well, that's the one it gave me, so. Obviously, as it says beta, I'll obviously grant this one. Okay. I'll grant this one the benefit of the doubt if it doesn't work perfectly well. So anyway, as you can see, here's the installer. Let's install now. It's got a really nice installer to it. I am not going to give it my phone number. Oh, so it's loaded up its little web page there. And it seems to have a very clean UI as well. That's the new tab option. If I close that one. Yeah. So it's got a GIF background image there, which is sort of okay when it loads. And it has got a really nice UI. It looks very modern. Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to Google, for example. So it's loaded Google very quick, and it's loaded it perfectly fine. How about let's search for the YouTube channel. That's good. In a way, this sort of reminds me of the new Firefox in the way that it's got these sort of rectangle tabs at the top here, which is rather good. And it loaded everything up perfectly well and really quick, which is also very good. And like I say, I do like the UI. That's the background for the new tab dialog. That's nice. So that's the back, reload, home. Where does home take you? Oh, home takes you back to their website. Yeah, so overall that's really good. I mean, I do like the way this is loaded. Let's go and have a look at the settings, for example. Yeah. So overall, the settings, the dialogues, everything looks in order, and it looks original. Like they've made it their own, really, and it looks very nice. I like the modern look for the UI, and I do see a lot of potential in this browser. I mean, it's loaded everything perfectly well, and it's loaded it really quick, which is which is really good. And I'm not sure if I've already read these out, but it has got a built-in ad blocker. It's got dual rendering engines to improve performance. It's got a new built-in application called Super Download, which means you can download videos, pictures and music offline, apparently with one click. Yeah, so I think there might be this one up here, Download Manager. So that's rather good. Yeah. Overall, this has got a lot of features, and it's got a really modern user interface. I saw an install it was Mastodon Asia, so perhaps it's more popular over there than it is over here in Europe. So overall, it's a really good browser, and yeah, I see this having a lot of potential. And overall, I wish the development team the very best of luck at making this obviously more popular and introducing new features. And I think they've done a brilliant job, so well done to them. Anyway, that's basically the Mastodon browser summed up there in a rather brief look. Yeah, so that's that, and especially as it's a beta version apparently as well, that's really good for a beta version. Really stable. So anyway, that's basically it for that. Thank you all. Oh, hang on. No, it isn't the end of the video yet, is it? No, because we've still got the Windows XP one to look at. One more thing, during editing I have noticed I made a big mistake, and that is leaving one of them out. That is the Vivaldi browser. So let's just go ahead and install this now. So I don't know why I forgot, it was right there. Well, anyway, let's have a look at some of the features of the Vivaldi browser. It's got adaptive interface colour, quick commands, so you can control everything with simple text commands, one-click colour change, and it's got a very nice bookmarks bar apparently. So let's just maximise this. Okay, so this is the setup here. There's lots of visual thingies. We can go with a grey one, a very XP-esque one there, a pink one, an olive one, sort of reminds me of XP as well, the olive green visual theme they had, and a dark one. Yeah, I like this one. I'm going to go with the XP one, why not? And anyway, so we can go with the tab bar being at the top, left, right, or at the bottom. I'm going to go with it being at the top just because I'm used to it being there. And start page background, so we can either go with this mist one, a sunset one, starry night one, pink cloud, a wave, purple lake, or jellyfish. Is it just my imagination? I think it's this one actually. Is that moving about, or is that just a stationary photo? Yeah, that's just the stationary photo, optical illusion, sorry. So anyway, I'm going to go with the wave one because I like that and it ties in with the nice blue theme I've got up there. So as you can see, it's got quite a few video tutorials apparently. You can follow them on the web, so that's just like liking them on Facebook and following them on Twitter. Telling more things about it for some reason, and get free email. I'll have to look into that, that looks rather interesting. And you can also join the community, but I'm going to start browsing. So as you can see, that has loaded everything quite well, and it sort of does remind me of the Opera browser in the way that it's got all these big these big sort of start page tabs. Yeah, and I believe speed dial is actually an Opera as well, so that's rather interesting. I think I read somewhere a while ago actually that it's actually was originally based on Opera, but they decided to go down the route of Firefox more than obviously it being more business orientated. So it's rather interesting. I think that's still true anyway. I remember reading that once. It's rather interesting. So it's got quite a few options as you can see there. And let's go and have a look at the settings, because why not? So the settings starts, well, the settings dialog starts in a different window. And it's got lots of settings. Just all of them there. So that's pretty fascinating actually. Quite like that. So that is it's a very sort of feature rich browser. Anyway, let's go to somewhere like Google. And that loads up quite quickly. Now, one other thing that I want to show you before I actually do this, if we go back to, for example, Vivaldi's website, notice the taskbar, how when it loads, you'll notice there it goes that way rather than it, well, how it usually loads up anyway. So if I go to features, and there you are, you can see it sort of moving across the screen there, rather than doing anything else. I really like that. It's very sort of different and original. I like that idea. Anyway, let's quickly go and have a look at this one. So it's loaded the YouTube channel perfectly well. Yeah. And if I go to the other website, so as you can see, it has loaded the new website perfectly well. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's also loaded everything rather fast as well. I mean, it probably hasn't loaded it as quick as some of the browsers I've reviewed, but that doesn't really matter because it has done everything well, and it's got loads of features as well. So that sort of compensates for it being ever so slightly slower than it otherwise would be if it were a different browser. So anyway, so that's basically it for the Vivaldi browser. Overall, I think it's quite nice, really, and yeah, overall, I think it's quite nice, and yeah. It's just such a sort of simple and straightforward browser. You can really easily get along with it, and that's what I like, because it's very familiar in the way that it looks a bit like Opera. It is good in the way that there's lots of features everywhere, and it's got built-in ad blockers, so you don't need to worry about finding a third-party one that isn't dodgy. And overall, it just looks lovely. So I really like the UI, and I like this sort of old-style Windows XP-esque style theme they've got there. That just looks a bit nostalgic, really, and I like that. So, I mean, overall, they've done a brilliant job with this browser, and I wish them all the very best with the future of developing this browser. And I really like it. So, I mean, that was just a brief look at the Vivaldi browser. I might do a more in-depth look at some of these anyway. That's for the modern ones as it is, but I think now we can switch over and actually have a look at the XP browsers. So hopefully I won't find anything else in here to do that I've completely forgotten about. So this is the last part of the video, and this is the part where I actually look at some retro stuff for a change. For a channel that's meant to be about retro technology, I don't look much at retro technology. So here's obviously the old style browsers that we're going to be taking a look at. The first one is Safari. Now you may be thinking Safari is made by Apple and well, that just doesn't happen. Well, guess what? It did. And a while ago, I can't remember the circumstances, but I remember Apple. Well, I remember an old Steve Jobs, I think it was. He had to use Windows XP, and while he was demonstrating, while he was demonstrating the new Safari. So, if I load this up now, this should be interesting. I mean, I'm not going to give you a big long list of features because there's not much point really. All the features that obviously I'll read out now are very old features. Okay, so that's weird, it can't load its own webpage. Hang on one moment, I've just got to quickly pause the video. Okay, sorry about that. So it seems quite curious that obviously, well, the Safari browser itself can't load Apple's start page. Let's just try the ordinary web page. How about that? No, it doesn't want to do that either. How about Google? Well, it loads Google quite well. YouTube should be interesting. And it loads YouTube as well, without any complaints. How weird. So it's surprisingly actually loaded the YouTube channel with, well, it's loaded it very well, which is weird. I was expecting everything to be completely wrong, but no, it's actually loaded it perfectly fine. Let's load up the web page. Oh. So that part there is just a URL bar, and you can't enter searches into that. You have to use either this one or go to this thing here. So a Google web search reveals that it does look slightly different to how modern browsers present a web search, but still perfectly usable. And surprisingly, it has loaded the old web page perfectly fine. Let's take a look at the brand new one. Nope, can't open that one. Unsurprisingly, really. No. I presume that was a new tab option then. Obviously not. In fact, where is the new tab option? Does this even have one? I don't think it does. Well, it might have somewhere, but I haven't seen it as of yet. Oh, there we are, new tab. There we are, let's open to new tab. And it can't load Apple's page, can it load Yahoo? It can load Yahoo, what about Wikipedia? Can't load Wikipedia, apparently. Thought Wikipedia was quite a lightweight one. Anyway, so that is basically the old style Safari for Windows reviewed. Some pages it actually loaded perfectly fine, and some pages some pages just didn't load at all. So that was weird. Anyway, let's go and have a look now at Netscape Navigator. And this was a browser that went, well, they just stopped doing Netscape Navigator altogether. I think they stopped in 2008 supporting this officially. So this should be rather interesting. Oh gosh. Unable to identify the file. Right. Definitely not. Numerous stupid dialogues. Okay, so that is taking forever to load. How about let's take it straight to Google. So it loads Google perfectly fine. Let's try YouTube, shall we? And surprisingly it loads YouTube perfectly fine as well. In fact it doesn't, does it? Right, well that's strange. Actually the YouTube logo is missing. 3 bits there work. nothing works there. We've got the sign-in tab over there with nothing else, and the thing saying home with an advert. I presume that's for Tesco Mobile. Oh, that looks fun. So it has done the same thing, loading all the videos down. Why is it loading them? Why is it loading them vertically? Oh well. I'm not really that surprised. Right, let's go for that one now. Yeah, and it can't even load the AOL one. Oh well. Well, that is it for Netscape Navigator, because I've had enough. Now, earlier on in the video I mentioned I'm going to be coming back and having a look, another look at Firefox. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and in the folder that says surprise, I've got the first ever version of Firefox in this folder. So let's take a look. Bring that down here. So yeah, as you can see, the installer sort of looks like the old style Firefox 52 installer. This remains much the same today, actually. Well, some of it does anyway. So this has got the same weird thing coming up as AOL, Netscape Navigator. Shall I make it the default browser? Yeah, go on then. An older version of Firefox, you don't say. So this is basically, the reason why I'm looking at this is because it's basically to celebrate how far Firefox has come. Because if you compare this to, for example, obviously this new one, when it loads. For some reason that's not loading, so I'll come back to this one. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it shows you just how far it's come, really, because Firefox has, well, it has evolved a lot since it first came out, and has that? Yes, it has. So yeah, if you compare this to obviously this, you can see lots of differences. So yeah, I mean, let's go and have some fun. Let's go to YouTube again and see if it wants to work. I have a feeling it's going to have much the same reaction as Netscape Navigator did. Yep, it's loading everything vertically, and most of the things aren't there. Let's at least try to go to the channel. Oh no, it doesn't want to select that box. Oh, okay then. Let's go back to Google. Surprisingly, Google loads marginally well on this. How about let's go to try to load the YouTube channel through here. Yeah, that's loaded even worse than Netscape Navigator. I suppose this was released in 2004, and the version of Netscape I looked at was released in 2008, so I suppose it shows you, really. Well, that's a crash. Let's quickly close this. Oh my goodness me, these security alerts are quite irritating. Right, I believe they've gone away now, and it has marginally loaded the old web page. Let's see if I can go to the Wix one, shall we? This should be interesting. Oh, so it hasn't loaded this one at all, really. Apparently it's done. Well, that was an interesting look at Firefox 1.0, and I suppose it shows you how far they've come, really, because they went from an unstable mess to a very stable obviously browser that has got 1,000,001 features and is just brilliant. So yeah, congratulations to the people at Firefox. They have done a really good job at the new Firefox browser, and I do wish them all the very best of luck with the future and with creating new brilliant versions of Firefox. So I believe that's basically it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and what on earth is this desktop background? Let's go and change that. There we go, that's better. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed this video. And the Christmas special will be coming out soon as well, so obviously you can stay tuned for that. Yeah, so that's basically it. Thank you all very much for watching once again, and goodbye.